Hello everybody and welcome to another video here on Philly Sports Network. And I know what you're immediately thinking, Liam, how in God's green earth do you look somehow younger than you already do? Why do you look like a 12-year-old? Well, I'm just accurately depicting the average age of the Eagles coaching staff. That, and I'm having a bit of a lazy day, alright? Bear with me, it's been a busy week. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're here to break down the latest and greatest Eagles news from the past 24 hours, in which there were 2 coaching hires and a dodgy Carson Wentz story, which we won't talk about as much as it does depict the quarterback and his type A personality in a bad light. We're only here to talk about the hirings. I want to get to the Wentz stuff in a separate, more in-depth video with some film and some background and that kind of thing. If you're new to the channel, as always, it will be amazing if you can hit that like button and drop a subscription as well. It is the best way to help the channel grow. And more importantly, drop your comments down in the comments section below. I'm sure you're going to have a lot to say about these hires. The first of which, it surprised me, if I'm honest. I did not see this coming whatsoever. The Eagles have indeed replaced Press Taylor with Brian Johnson. No, not the AC/DC singer, but the former Florida Gators offensive coordinator. And this move left me a little bit thunderstruck. Look, I've got to stop, okay? I wrote an article, there were like 10 AC/DC puns. But wow, this move looks like a shot in the dark on tape. Sorry, I can't. There's more to this than meets the eye. Of course, the obvious connection here is that he most recently coached Kyle Trask, who had a baller year in 2020, easily emerging as one of the top quarterback prospects. Trask had 4,283 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions last season under Johnson's offense. But before that, he was the quarterback's coach for 2 years after a stint with Houston, where he had the same role and some offensive coordinator responsibilities. The big thing, though, is between 2014 and 2016, he was a QB coach at Mississippi State. And who was the quarterback in that time span? None other than Dallas Cowboys QB, currently Dallas Cowboys QB, Dak Prescott, who just so happened to absolutely explode under his tutelage, skyrocket his draft stock, and get him to the Dallas Cowboys, ultimately becoming one of the arch nemesises of the Philadelphia Eagles for the Doug Peterson era, and probably the next few years, providing they don't monumentally mess up his contract situation. Johnson worked under Dan Mullen at both Mississippi State and Florida, and Mullen is of course a product of the Urban Meyer tree of coaching, which is also glowing rave reviews. So you end up Dan Mullen, Urban Meyer, and then Brian Johnson. Again, not the AC/DC singer. What's even more interesting is actually recruited Jalen Hurts out of high school, which is a bit crazy when you think about it. So they've been friends since the age of 4. I say friends. I mean, you probably knew him since he was the age of 4. And I'm told that at that time, he told Jalen Hurts, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock it. I've got to stop. I actually have to stop. Johnson is also a former quarterback, was a former Sugar Bowl MVP, and the NCAA Football 10 cover athlete, which, for anyone that misses NCAA as much as I do, is going to tug on your heartstrings a little bit. He was heavily sought after by college programs after the rise of Kyle Trask, but he decided to take a much bigger leap and push his way to the NFL. He will now be responsible for the resurrection of Carson Wentz and potentially the development of Jalen Hurts as well, who he's known pretty much his entire life. This is a good hire. I mean, if as far as a quarterback coach candidate goes, you can't really ask for much more than that. Someone that has not only developed Kyle Trask and Dak Prescott, but knows Jalen Hurts like the back of his hand, and comes from a very strong coaching tree, and is only 33 years old, okay? He's a young bull in this arena, and we know all of the Eagles coaches this year are under 40 so far. They don't like boomers, alright? They're going very much the younger side of things, which we love to see, okay? We want some fresh ideas in there. Now, rebuilding Carson Wentz won't happen overnight, but I'd like to think that this is going to be one of the best coaches positioned to do exactly that. However, he wasn't the only coach hired. There was another one with, believe it or not, a link to Nick Sirianni, hired later on in the day, and that was the man who's going to replace Justin Peele as the tight ends coach. Jason Michael is the man we're talking about, someone who spent the last 2 seasons under Nick Sirianni coaching the Colts tight ends, including Mo Alley-Cox, Jack Doyle, and former Eagle and friend of Philly Sports Network, Trey Burton, which we love to see. Now, the tight ends didn't exactly blow up during that time. I mean, Mo Alley-Cox led the Colts tight ends with 394 yards and a pair of touchdowns in what was his 3rd season, while Jack Doyle put up 251 yards and Trey Burton put up 250 of his own. And believe it or not, Sirianni actually overlapped with Jason Michael during their time at San Diego. So the two go way back before Indianapolis, and out of his 17 years of coaching, 14 have been in the NFL. He's an experienced guy. It's going to come into a fairly unstable room. We don't know where Zach Ertz is going to be. Dallas Goedert's entering his contract year. There's talk of Kyle Pitts at 6. We don't know whether Richard Rodgers is going to be around, and we certainly don't know what the depth is going to look like. So I would say, off a hunch, that this is a good move. Again, you're trying to refresh something. The Eagles' tight end production fell off a cliff last year. It's time to try and right that ship, especially if you're going to bring in new talent, and even more so if you want to run a lot of 12 personnel, which we know Sirianni loves to do. That is it for another video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. My name is Liam Jenkins. If you could subscribe, that would be amazing. But until next time, take it easy, enjoy your evening, fly Eagles fly. I'll see you soon.